To all my golden souls, if you're experiencing a deep loss in any form today, I want you to know that my heart is with you. Loss doesn't always come in the same way. Sometimes it's the loss of someone you love. Sometimes it's the loss of a relationship you thought would last forever. Sometimes it's the loss of a dream you carried close to your heart. Sometimes it's the loss of the life you thought you would have. And sometimes it's a loss that nobody else can see. The loss of peace. The loss of hope. The loss of the person you used to be before life became so heavy. Whatever your loss may be, I want you to know that God sees it. He sees every tear you've cried. He sees every sleepless night. He sees every moment when you've tried to stay strong for everyone around you while quietly falling apart inside. Golden soul, I know what loss can do to a heart. It can make the world feel different. It can make familiar places feel empty. It can make ordinary days feel heavier than they once did. Sometimes you wake up, and for a brief moment, everything feels normal. Then reality settles back in. The memory returns. The pain returns. The emptiness returns. And you're reminded all over again of what you've lost. There are moments when loss feels unbearable. Moments when your heart asks questions that have no answers. Why did this happen? Why now? Why did things have to change? Why couldn't things stay the way they were? And while those questions are natural, they can also leave us feeling exhausted, because sometimes we spend so much energy trying to understand our pain that we forget to simply bring it to God. Golden soul, God is not afraid of your questions. He's not offended by your tears. He's not disappointed in your struggle. He understands every emotion you're carrying, even the ones you don't know how to explain, even the ones you've never spoken out loud, even the ones you've tried to hide from everyone else. God sees them all, and He loves you through every one of them. One of the hardest parts about loss is the loneliness that often comes with it. In the beginning, people call. They send messages. They check on you. They remind you that they're thinking about you. But as the days turn into weeks, and the weeks turn into months, life continues moving for everyone else. People return to their routines, their responsibilities, their schedules. And while the world keeps moving forward, your heart may still be trying to catch up. That's when grief can begin to feel lonely. Not because nobody cares, but because nobody can fully feel what you're feeling. Nobody knows exactly what that person meant to you. Nobody knows exactly what that dream meant to you. Nobody knows exactly what that chapter of your life meant to you. Only you know the depth of what was lost. And sometimes that can make you feel isolated. You may find yourself smiling around others while carrying sadness inside. You may find yourself saying, "I'm okay," simply because explaining the truth feels too exhausting. You may even feel guilty for still hurting, as if you should be over it by now, as if you should have moved on already. Golden soul, please hear me when I say this. There is no expiration date on grief. There is no timeline for healing. There is no rule that says your heart must stop missing what mattered to you. Some wounds take longer to heal because the love was real. Some losses hurt deeply because they changed your life. And that's okay. You don't have to rush yourself. You don't have to pretend. You don't have to carry the weight of other people's expectations. Give yourself permission to feel what you feel. Give yourself permission to have difficult days. Give yourself permission to heal at the pace God has designed for you. And when loneliness begins to whisper that you're by yourself, remember this: you are not alone, not for a single moment. God is with you in the quiet. God is with you in the tears. God is with you in the empty spaces that feel impossible to fill. Even when nobody else understands, He understands. Even when nobody else sees your pain, He sees it. And even when your heart feels lonely, you are never walking through this season by yourself, because God has been beside you every step of the way, and He isn't leaving now. Golden soul, if you've ever gone through a deep loss, chances are you've asked this question at least once. Where is God? Where is God when my heart is breaking? Where is God when I'm crying myself to sleep? Where is God when the pain feels too heavy to carry? Where is God when the prayers seem unanswered? These are not questions of weakness. These are questions of a hurting heart. And if you've asked them, you're not alone. Many people have stood where you're standing. Many people have looked up to heaven through tears and wondered why life unfolded the way it did. Because when we're hurting, we naturally want answers. We want understanding. We want a reason. We want something that makes the pain make sense. But sometimes the answers don't come right away. Sometimes the reason isn't revealed. Sometimes all we have is the reality of what we're facing. And that can be incredibly difficult, especially when your faith feels tired, especially when your heart feels weary, especially when you're trying to hold on while carrying a burden that feels too heavy for your shoulders. But golden soul, just because God feels distant does not mean He is absent. Feelings can be powerful, but feelings are not always facts. There may be days when you don't feel His presence, days when your prayers seem to echo into silence, days when your faith feels smaller than your fear. Yet even in those moments, God remains faithful. He remains present. He remains near, not because life is easy, not because the pain isn't real, but because His love for you does not change when circumstances do. Think about the footprints you've already walked through, the battles you've already survived, the seasons you never thought you'd make it through. At the time, you may not have realized it, but God was carrying you then, and He's carrying you now. Even if you cannot see His hand, even if you cannot understand His plan, even if your heart is struggling to trust, God is still working in places you cannot see. He's working in your healing. He's working in your growth. He's working in the quiet moments when you think nothing is happening. And sometimes, the greatest act of faith is not having all the answers. It's simply choosing to believe that God is still with you while you're waiting for them. So if your heart is breaking today, don't be afraid to bring that pain to Him. Bring Him your tears. Bring Him your questions. Bring Him your fears. Bring Him your disappointment. Bring Him everything. Because God does not ask you to carry your burdens alone. He asks you to place them in His hands. And while the road ahead may still feel uncertain, you can take comfort in this. The same God who has carried you this far will continue to carry you forward. One day, one step, one breath at a time. Golden soul, there's something I want you to remember. Healing does not mean forgetting. Sometimes people think healing means reaching a place where the pain disappears completely. A place where the memories no longer affect you. A place where the loss no longer matters. But that isn't what healing looks like. Healing doesn't erase love. Healing doesn't erase memories. Healing doesn't erase the impact that someone or something had on your life. If anything, healing allows you to carry those memories differently. Because the truth is, some losses stay with us. Not because we're broken, not because we're refusing to move forward, but because certain people, certain dreams, and certain seasons become part of who we are. And that's okay. You do not have to pretend that something important never happened. You do not have to force yourself to get over it. You do not have to apologize for still caring. Golden soul, God understands the depth of your love. He understands why your heart aches. He understands why certain memories still bring tears to your eyes. And He is not asking you to forget. He's asking you to trust Him with the healing process. One day you may find yourself smiling at a memory that once made you cry. One day you may find yourself talking about what you lost without feeling completely overwhelmed. One day you may realize that while the pain is still there, it no longer controls every part of your life. That doesn't mean you've forgotten. It means God has been healing your heart, little by little, day by day, moment by moment. Healing is often so gentle that we don't notice it while it's happening. It's found in the days when you laugh again. It's found in the moments when hope quietly returns. It's found in the strength God gives you to keep moving forward when you thought you couldn't. And even now, while you may still be grieving, while your heart may still feel tender, God is doing a work inside of you, a work you may not fully understand yet. He's restoring what pain tried to steal. He's strengthening the places where you feel weak. And He's reminding you that your story did not end with this loss. There is still purpose ahead of you. There is still joy ahead of you. There is still peace ahead of you. Not because what happened didn't matter, but because God's grace is greater than the pain you're carrying. So be patient with yourself, golden soul. You're healing. Even if it doesn't feel like it today, you're growing. Even if progress feels slow, and God is walking beside you through every step of the journey. You do not have to rush. You do not have to force tomorrow to come. Just keep placing one foot in front of the other. Keep trusting God with the pieces, and allow Him to heal your heart in His perfect timing. Golden soul, before we end this time together, there's one more thing I want you to remember. Your pain matters. Your tears matter. Your loss matters. And because it matters to you, it matters to God. Sometimes when we're hurting, we convince ourselves that we have to carry everything alone. We tell ourselves that we need to be stronger, that we need to have more faith, that we should be handling things better than we are. But God never asked you to carry all of this by yourself. He never asked you to hold the weight of the world on your shoulders. He never asked you to suffer in silence. He simply asks you to come to Him, just as you are. Not when you're healed, not when you're stronger, not when you figured everything out, but right now, in this moment, with the tears, with the questions, with the broken pieces, with the weary heart, bring it all to Him, because God specializes in meeting people in their brokenness. He meets us in our darkest nights. He meets us in our deepest valleys. He meets us in the moments when we feel like we have nothing left. And somehow, He gives us the strength to take one more step, then another, then another. Golden soul, I don't know what loss you're carrying today. I don't know what burden you've been silently holding. I don't know what chapter of your life has left your heart feeling heavy. But I do know this. You are loved. You are seen. You are not forgotten. And you are not walking this journey alone. Even now, God is holding you. Even now, God is comforting you. Even now, God is making a way where you cannot yet see one. So if your heart is hurting tonight, rest in His promises. If your spirit feels weary, rest in His presence. If your faith feels small, rest in His love. Because His love for you has never depended on how strong you are. His love has never depended on how perfect your faith is. His love has never depended on whether you have all the answers. His love remains through every storm, through every loss, through every season. And one day, golden soul, you'll look back and realize that even in the moments when you felt most alone, God never left your side, not once. As it says in Psalm 34:18, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." And in Matthew 11:28, Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." So tonight, take a deep breath, release what you cannot control, place your burdens into God's hands, and allow yourself to rest, because the God who carried you yesterday is carrying you today, and He will carry you through tomorrow. Until next time, golden souls, remember this: you may be hurting, you may be grieving, you may be walking through a difficult season, but you are never walking through it alone. God is with you, always.